Hey, my name is Vixen, aka Video Vixen, and this is my response to DeFranco Movie Club. This is my first time doing movie club, so I'm kind of excited to talk about movies. I love watching movies. This week, I watched the movie Sleepwalk With Me, starring Mike Birbiglia as a upcoming comedian, and it's an autobiographical piece of his life. Basically, this comedian, he is suffering with sleepwalk syndrome, and he has these violent sleepwalking incidences where he thinks he's like in a field, but he's actually like standing on top of a dresser and he hurts himself. And his family is concerned about him. He has this loving girlfriend that is by his side, and is basically about his rise into his comedic career. Looking at the movie, I originally thought that was supposed to be a comedy. It was supposed to be like really funny, and it had some funny parts. But for the most part, this was a autobiography of this comedian's life. My initial thoughts on the movie: I like this movie. I think that, as I said, I thought it was supposed to be like a comedy, but it turned out to be more of a dark comedy. I mean, in the sense of, like the jokes and laughing. It was more of a dark comedy. I mean, there was some funny parts to it. I didn't like LOL laugh out loud, but there was some parts that were like, I guess, embarrassingly, awkwardly funny. And those are the parts that I did laugh at. But for the most part, I was watching it. It felt like the main character was talking to me like a friend. Like I knew the guy and he was telling me his life story. And I think he did a good job with that by, talking to the camera, breaking that fourth wall and talking to the audience, talking to the viewer, and, making it seem very personal. Especially there was one part of the movie where he was like, narrating and he said, at this part, remember, you guys are on my side. And I kind of felt like, yeah, I'm on your side. I'm going to defend you even though you did something wrong. I feel like I was on his side. Like I felt like he was actually talking to me, which was a good technique that he used to narrate the story. I like the parts when he like made his dreams real, and like that one part where he was like running through the field and like he thought he was in the Olympics, and then the other dream where he was eating this pizza cushion and he was being sprayed with sauce. Like it was really funny to see his dreams being brought to life, but at the same time realizing that was a dream and it was completely not real. But for the most part, seeing that this was, about his life, all these things happened. I've never heard of anyone having like a really severe sleepwalking, syndrome. Actually, there was one of my friends. He actually, unfortunately, he died from sleepwalking. He was a college friend of mine, and he sleepwalked out of a window and fell a couple of stories. So that was kind of tragic. So, keeping that in mind, I kind of watched this movie, though, as I said, this guy was a comedian and he made light of it, but at the same time, knowing that this is a real thing and people do get tragically hurt, especially the part where he jumped out the window, that could have ended really badly for him. And, if, this is based on his life, these are the type of stuff that made him, like, turn around and do something about it. And for the parts that I dislike, I know for the most part this wasn't really supposed to be a comedy, more of an autobiographical piece. So I know that there was some parts that were funny intentionally, that weren't funny. But for the most part, like, I guess I was expecting to laugh more and I didn't. But I realized that because it was based on a serious subject. I also really felt bad for the girlfriend, which was another part of the movie that, like, kind of made me cringe a bit. Because it's like, they've been together for so long and, like, at that point, it's like, he was looking for commitment. But he knew what he wanted to do with his life. Which was another, like... I also liked how, through the movie, he started to incorporate his real life experiences to his material, and, people started laughing at it. I think that's one of the good things about being a comedian. Like, you're able to take these real life experiences and turn it into material that you can use to entertain your audience. And it's kind of taking something dark and bringing it into light. And, he was able to do that, and that's why he became a successful comedian. He talked about his relationship, he talked about his sleepwalking, his commitment, and, though it kind of drove him and his girlfriend away from each other, it brought him closer together to what he really wanted to do. So I think, I guess what I got from that is that from every bad thing, you could turn into something good, and comedians do a good job of doing that. So that's why I really like the movie overall. Now, the way I rate movies, I rate them with V's. So, for this movie, I think I'm going to rate this movie I'd say a 3.5. 3.5 V's out of 5. I thought it was a really good movie, and I liked the elements that he used to tell the story, especially with him breaking the fourth wall and talking to the audience, and the way that he depicted his dreams. But at the same time, it was just what it was. It was just a story, and it had its funny parts, it had its dull parts, and I enjoyed it for what it was, a nice storytelling. So I can't wait to watch the next movie. I definitely will be participating more in movie club because I do like watching movies and I do like movie clubs. So yes, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time on Movie Club. Later, DeFranco. Fade out.